and welcome to another episode of Cardinal Film Fights. I'm your lovely host and judge, Stephen Mason, bringing you another riveting tale of suspense and wonder. Here at Cardinal Film Fights, we like our opinions, and we like our movies, and we like our animation. That's the theme for tonight. I hope you stick by and see what we have in store for you. Here at Cardinal Film Fights, we have a format. 1 minute will be dedicated to each individual fighter, 3 of these people right here, to give their opinion on a given matter, animation-based for tonight. And then 5 minutes will be given after all the opening statements have been given to have a battle royale of opinions. And then after the battle royale has been completed to fruition, 30 more seconds will be given to each fighter to round out the opinions in a closing statements. So, who are you people again? You, right here, what's your name, number, social security number, the date of your mother's... I've already made this joke.
Yes, you have.
Name, major, year, and least favorite color.
Oh, okay. I'm Nick Evans. I'm a junior telecommunications major. I'm the president and director of Cardinal Film Fights. My least favorite color would probably have to be, like... I don't know, like that, like hot pink, I guess. Like, I don't know, it's just like...
How dare you?
Or like that, like really like faded orange. I don't know, it's just like, it's just like, ew, why?
Go away. Next.
Hi, I'm Kimberly Holbrook. I'm a sophomore animation major, and my least favorite color is probably gray because I'm seeing it around everywhere now, and I'm really getting sick of it, and I just want bright colors.
Hello, my name is, I'm just going to go ahead and say it.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
My name is James Ong. I'm a junior animation major. And my least favorite color is probably like that gaudy orange they use in like video game covers. Like they'll have the blue and orange soldier man walking out of the dust.
Yeah.
Explosive orange.
Yes, that's a good way to describe it. Oh, good God.
Oh wait, that's dead.
You just dated us.
Yes. All right, moving on from Tide Pods. Animation requires a director, just like Cardinal Film Fights requires a director. So there's always going to be the question, who is the best director? Today, we'll start with James.
What qualifies the best director for me is creativity, is just the love of the craft, and for me, that is Chris Pranowski, who is the president right now and director of Titmouse, which is a bird. He's developed a lot of Cartoon Network and Adult Swim shows. He did Super Jail. He did The Amazing Screw on Head, which is a pilot for the Sci-Fi Channel. And just another one, he did Freaknik the Musical, which stars T-Pain as a ghost made out of money who becomes president of the United States. I highly recommend it.
Chirp. And Kimberly.
For directing animation, it takes a lot of guts and skill, and for mine, I chose Chuck Jones. He is one of the best-known animators of Warner Brothers, and over his career directed over 300 animated works, and I find him to be the best director because not only did he direct, but he worked alongside his team, making him not only a good leader, but a good example. Not only that, he was also awarded 2 Oscars and received 1 as an honorary Oscar that was given to him for his contributions to the creation of classic cartoons, which not a lot of animators get.
Incredible. And Mr. Director, round us off.
Fair enough. All right, so sometimes 2 heads are better than 1. This is seen with Coen Brothers, the guys or girls who directed The Matrix, and then Ron Clements and John Musker. Ron Clements and John Musker are the creators, the originators, really, of the Disney Renaissance, having done Little Mermaid, which started the Disney Renaissance, and then continuing to work to direct both Aladdin and Hercules. They also did Great Mouse Detective, Treasure Planet, Princess and the Frog, and Moana recently in 2016. Those combined movies have generated almost, if I've done the math correctly, almost $2 billion in box office profits alone, not to mention the sequels, the Broadway musicals, the awards, the accolades. Their only real flub was Treasure Planet, and the only reason it flubbed was because Disney screwed the pooch and released it at the wrong time and didn't market it well. These guys are legends in Disney, and they're probably the best directors Disney has in their arsenal.
Quite a lot to say. This is going to be a good one. I can feel it already. So, fighters, on your mark, get set, go!
Chris Pranowski, I understand he's underground, but he has done a crap ton for animation. He was a lead director on MTV. He did the first primetime cartoon, if I remember, on MTV, Downtown, which is nominated for a Primetime Emmy. Lost, of course, because cartoons get shafted. He did Megas XLR on Cartoon Network, which was a hit when it was released, only lasted one season. He's gotten...
But the problem is he hasn't directed.
He does a lot of
animation.
No, he directed these cartoons.
But when you compare Chuck Jones, who created the frickin' Looney Tunes for God's sake, and the guys who created the Disney Renaissance, which is Disney's strongest point, until recently, it's Disney's high watermark for their animation department. I mean, your guy might have like some directing roles, but like, where's the beef? He's got the bone, but where's the beef to the body?
Not only that, but he's also very young at 46, whereas a lot of these other animators have grown. And in fact, Chris probably looked at these animators as his inspiration. So because of that, I feel like although you can take inspiration and be greater than the masters before you, it takes a lot, and I don't think he's quite reached that level.
And Chuck Jones, I mean, don't get me wrong. Again, Chuck Jones is Chuck Jones. He's the second biggest legend in animation behind Walt Disney. But my problem with Chuck Jones is that after 1975, when he storms out of Warner Brothers because he gets pissed off at his competitor Ron Clampett, and he gets pissed off at Tex Avery, whoever's in charge of Warner Brothers. After 1975, he really doesn't do anything for the next 40 years of his life. He's kind of there. He makes appearances. He does some fun guest stuff.
After contributing for over half a century, you have to admit you'd probably
Miyazaki's still going. He's been going since Miyazaki's going to die at an animation desk.
But what kind of role did he really have? Chuck Jones was involved in these projects. These guys stood back. Not only that, but you've chosen 2 directors. The question was best director, and while you can say a team is better than a single, it also provides a lot of throwbacks. Because in that way, you can see that 2 directors only equate to 1 man, that was Chuck Jones. They only have half the skill set of one entire man.
I'm not arguing that they have the exact skill set of Chuck Jones. That's like asking me to clone. That's like asking me to find a Michael Jordan look-alike and who can play exactly like Michael Jordan. These guys do their own thing different from what Chuck Jones and the Looney Tunes are. That's why Disney and Looney Tunes have such a big rivalry. They're 2 completely different styles, 2 completely different ways of approaching animation.
But when one man did the job of 2,
is one of the rising stars of animation currently. You 2 picked very old, very well-known things. I decided to try
Ron
and pick...
and John are not that old. They're only in like their...
I didn't ask you now, did I?
I mean, you're addressing me and Kim, so I mean, I am obligated to respond.
I'm gonna finish my thought.
Go for it, man.
I'm gonna let you finish, but Titmouse is one of the growing stars in animation. They've done a lot of the Adult Swim shows that have gotten a lot of traction. Super Jail lasted for I think like 5 seasons at least. I'm probably gonna get corrected on that, but they've just done this underground renaissance of animation for Adult Swim, for Cartoon Network even. They're still doing, I can't remember any of the recent shows, but Chris Panowski is a good leader. He's a good example. He worked with these people in these animation dungeons, basically, just working beside them in the trenches. And to say he took inspiration from Chuck Jones, well, that he only stands where he is now because he stands on the shoulders of giants. He's learned from their mistakes and their successes in order to make something great. I mean, he's the president of Titmouse right now when he was just an employee when he started.
It's one thing to stand on the shoulders of giants, but it's another thing to step out of the shadows and become your own. And the thing with Ron and John is that when Disney was finally coming back to 2D animation with Princess and the Frog, they could have picked any director to do any movie, and they went back to the guys who brought them the Renaissance. They went back to the guys who, despite flopping with Treasure Planet, not of their own accord, again, Disney messed up, They went back to Ron and John and were like, hey, we need you to direct another 2D
But
movie.
since then, they haven't done any 2D because 2D is now losing revenue.
It didn't do as well as the box
Exactly.
office, but it still was a good movie. Everybody praised it. Everybody loves it. The songs are memorable. It's a good.
Well, everybody
it's a good
praises
love
Looney
letter.
Tunes as well.
I know, but it's still, they went back. The thing is that they went back when they were doing Space Jam. They didn't go to Chuck Jones like, hey, Chuck Jones, we need you to direct Space Jam. They went and got somebody else. When Disney was like, we want to do another 2D animation movie, they went to Ron and John. Was like, hey, we need you to bring
that
back
also
the
goes to the
magic
fact
of the
that
Renaissance.
Chuck Jones has been deceased since 2002.
But Space Jam came out in the 90s. He was alive back. He was well alive in the 90s.
But because of that, he went on his own personal projects
and did what with them? He's
and-
got nothing. Like what has Chuck Jones done? What did Chuck Jones do? Thank you. Sorry.
Lots of passion in this one. This was a good one, as I predicted. We're gonna start
We
off.
started with him.
Kimberly,
Oh gosh.
round us off.
In conclusion, Chuck Jones is the best animation director because not only did he do over 300, he was involved in them, and that kind of artwork and the characters he created have built many people's childhoods, and not a lot of people can say that. Although he did not continue past the 90s, his work is still remembered and played today, and because of that, I think he's done a great job directing.
Okay. And James on the end there. What
Chris
do you got?
Pranowski may not be as prolific as Chuck Jones and Don and Juan, or whatever their names were.
John and Ron.
I see. But he's done a lot of good work over the years, and he still has a lot of his career ahead of him. And if he's already doing these memorable works, which a lot of people remember fondly on, like The Amazing Screw-On Head, Freaknik, Super Jail, these fun comedy action shows. And if people will remember him now, then I think they'll remember him always.
Interesting. And Nick?
Disney normally doesn't give its directors a second chance, but they did it with Ron and John, and this is because of their great work with the Renaissance and their early work. And like I told James, it's one thing to stand on the shoulders of giants; it's another thing to step out of the shadows. While Chuck Jones and Walt Disney might have been their inspiration, these guys have forged their own path, directing movies that will again last forever. They are everywhere in the parks, everywhere on television, everywhere in cinema, everywhere in theaters. They've made billions and billions and billions of dollars, for crying out loud. They are legends.
Quite the passionate statement. And fact checker, do you have anything?
Everything looks to be correct here.
Incredible. You guys are great. All right, so I will start with third place, as I often do. And I think it's a little clear here. James, Chris Pranowski. It's hard to pronounce.
Pranowski.
Yeah. I thought that the point that he doesn't have a whole lot of work under his belt quite yet, that he's still working, but even though he's got some works, they really do not measure up quite yet. And gonna have to award third place for you there. And for second place, it was another toss-up here between Chuck Jones and John and Ron. The deciding factor came between what they did throughout the course of their careers. While Chuck Jones had a lot, 300 plus, you said, works with Warner Brothers. As Nick said when he left, he hasn't really or didn't really do much of note with those years, even though it is possible to do stuff later in life, especially with animation directors. So Chuck Jones was awarded second place. So that just leaves John Musker and Ron Clements with Nick. The fact that even though Disney is not very known for giving people a second chance when they flop, the fact that even though Treasure Planet flopped, they still came back and produced hits like Moana recently. And that really sold the deal for me to prove that they were the best directors. So, yeah, that's Best Director. Good fight. I was very impressed.
Well done.
So to review, first is Nick with John and Ron. Second, Kimberly with Chuck Jones. And James with Chris Pranowski.
Pranowski.
It's hard to pronounce. So, so thank you for tuning in to this episode of Cardinal Film Fights. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, and sacrifice your firstborn child to make everything better. Don't do that last bit. Disclaimer. So we hope you enjoyed this, and please tune in for more Cardinal Film Fights in the future. Thank you, and good night.
You made me.